Many graphing packages available to any data analyst, especially in Python, where it's a very rich choice. You have to ask yourself, why bother learning D3? Because D3 has a very, very steep learning curve. It is hard. It is properly hard to learn. Why bother? And the reason why you bother is because D3 is the best. Um, it has no ceiling. It reaches all the way up to the sky as regards customizational, um, making graphs that you can customize to the nth degree. So if you go to the D3 homepage, d3gs.org, and click examples, you see 171 examples here, and you get the standard stuff. You've line maps there, hierarchical maps, bar charts, line charts, area charts, geographical charts, all this stuff. And if you look at them more closely, you realize just how complex and genuinely beautiful a lot of them are. This is sunburst chart, which is, it's a variation of a pie chart. It's a hierarchical chart, actually. This is a chord diagram showing software dependencies. This is a tree chart. This is again showing software dependencies. These are all showing the same dependencies, actually. They're showing the dependencies for an ActionScript package called Flare, which is one of the reasons, in my opinion, one of the reasons why D3 is so difficult to learn is because they use examples with Flare from ActionScript. Now, who knows what Flare in ActionScript is? Very, very few people. ActionScript is on the way out, and Flare is on the way out with it. So these were not the best hierarchical models to choose, in my opinion. And I hope to be choosing ones that are better. Anyway, here's a tree map. Again, gorgeous, beautifully laid out. Unfortunately, it's Flare again. You don't know what it is. This is a tangled tree diagram. So instead of a straightforward tree diagram, this is a tangled tree of the Greek gods and the various relationships between them. See quite a few branches coming from Zeus there. Zeus had a very, very rudimentary idea of contraception. Very rudimentary. Sankey diagram, fantastic, gorgeous diagrams. This is an energy diagram and how particular types of energy, nuclear, agricultural waste, wind, pumped heat oil, are used, whether industrially, domestic heating, transport, international shipping, aviation. But it's a very expressive diagram. I think that there's a Sankey diagram in Tableau. I'm not sure, but again, it will never be as customizable as it will be in D3. And it's D3's customizability that makes it special, that makes it the market leader, that makes it worthwhile, and worth the effort and heartbreak to learn it. So, first thing we'll do with D3 is we will download it locally. So you can use a content delivery network to supply your D3 to your visualizations. But you're better when you're developing first. You're better downloading the D3 package and loading it locally, because that way you always know where it is. It's guaranteed to be available. And if D3 updates to a new version, you still have the old local versions. You're guaranteed that what's in your machine will work. And as you'll find out, that's an important thing in D3. So to download a local version, click Getting Started on the home page. This is Get Started here. Click that, scroll down, down, and you'll see if you prefer to run D3 locally or offline, you can download here. We'll download this min, and we'll pull that from downloads. This is a Mac computer. We'll pull that from downloads into our local folder. Next, about tools before we start. The browser I'm going to use to look at the D3 visualizations is Firefox. Why use Firefox when all the world use Chrome? because all the world uses Chrome. I use Chrome as well, but in developing in D3, you're going to be clearing cookies all the time, forever. Um, Therefore, it's better to use the browser that you don't normally use and then set it as an incognito browser or the equivalent of an incognito browser. Um, Meaning that you don't have to clear cookies all the time. You only have to close the browser and that clears the cookies. The way you do that in Firefox is that you open the side menu here, scroll down to Settings, Privacy and Security, and down here in History, you ask it to never remember history. That's it. The other thing we'll do is we'll make sure that the home page is set at localhost 8000. Localhost 8000 is the default port for the Python HTTP server module, which is what we'll use to generate the graphics. Therefore, when you launch your browser, it'll be launched at localhost 8000 rather than you having to go looking for it. Because it'll be closing and opening the browser a lot, this is surprisingly good at saving you time and keeping you sane. Okay, that's the browser. The tool I'm going to use for the actual coding is VS Code. There's no particular reason for it other than the fact I like it and I'm used to it. And I hope that at this level of resolution it'll come up large so that you'll be able to see it clearly on your screens. This should all be reasonably clear. But you can use whatever browser that you like. It doesn't matter to me. As I say, I just use this because I'm used to it. Now here, just delete this now that it's served its purpose. Now here we have the minified DS code that we downloaded from the DS website. That's fine. What's here is the data set that we're going to be using at the start, which is the iris data set as discovered over 100 years ago and still in use. It was discovered by a Dr. Fisher. It was a big bug on data analysis found in Father. You can read about it on, if you haven't seen it before, you can read all about it on Wikipedia. And you know, you can download it anywhere. It's all over the internet, or you can download it in the GitHub link to this code that I'll be providing in the notes. Here. So we have our minified code, we have our iris data in our data folder, and we're going to be all set to go with the 3 basic programs that you need at the start to set yourself up. And that's what we're going to look at next. So here we are in VS Code, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a ruler, an 80 character ruler mark, just for tidiness. To do that, you go to Code, Settings, search for editor.rulers. Gives you an option to edit in settings JSON, and that's where we go. So this takes key value pairs for 2 parameters. One is called column, which tells you where to place the ruler. We're going to have two columns here. One is going to be placed at 70, and we're going to color it honeydew, which is one of the light HTML colors. And then we're going to create a second ruler. This is like the first 70 ruler is a warning, 80 characters a final limit. We'll set the column there to 80, and we'll set the color to bisque. I'm not entirely sure what bisque is. I just like saying it. You have to make your own fun in these things sometimes. Anyway, We hit save, close settings, and there's our two lines, the 70 line and the 80. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to create the three files that we need to create any D3 visualization. Hit the new file icon, and this is index.html. Then another new file is style.css, and our third new file is graph.jss. So it's HTML, a style sheet, and a JavaScript file. That's what we're going to have. So go back to index, and we're going to write the HTML. There's a thing packaged with VS Code called Emmet, which means when you type doc and hit return, it fills in the heading boilerplate for you. You don't have to do anything. So that's fantastic. We'll just customize it slightly by changing the title to D3 Tutorial, or Jennifer, or Alison, or Philippa, Sue, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. We're going to add onload equal draw, meaning when this page is fully loaded, please run a function called draw that you'll find in JavaScript somewhere. We're going to add two heading files, h2, h3, just to see that this is loading properly, really. And then we're going to create a div with an ID called canvas, and that's where we're going to draw our actual graph. Now, we go back up to headings, and here we're going to add three things. There are going to be two JavaScript scripts, and the third one is going to be a link, which will link to the style sheet. So we set the type to CSS/style sheet, and the href then is style.css. Then up to script, the type is text/JavaScript, and the source src is equal to graph.js. Now, rather than fill in the other one, we'll just copy that, paste it over the other one, and just change the source to the mimified D3 package that we downloaded a couple of minutes ago. We'll have the link to the I'll have the link to the download location in the notes. Now, we'll put in something. We'll put in our headings. We'll put in "Hello YouTube" as our headings, just to make sure this page is working. And now we're going to launch a local server to see if the page is working. You do that by opening a terminal. The shortcut on the Mac for a terminal is Shift-Control-Backtick, and at the prompt we type Python -m HTTP server, and you see it opens on port 8000, which we've carefully set our Firefox browser to, and hurrah, that's all working. Hello YouTube is showing up, the title is correct, that's all completely fantastic. So that only leaves us with one more. Well, actually, before we go, we'll change the body text, the font family, to sans serif, because serif fonts, the internet default, look horrible. But that's all we're going to do now. Come back next time and we're going to fill out graph. It's going to be step-by-step process, one by one, carefully as we go. So that's something to look forward to. And in the meantime, please like and subscribe. It helps motivate me to put up these things, and live long and prosper.